frontal attack on the Mamata Banerjee government. The Prime Minister today alleged that it has perpetuated a syndicate raj in all spheres of life in West Bengal, where no work gets done without common people having to pay cut money. He accused the TMC government of pursuing appeasement politics to protect its vote bank while neglecting its cultural heritage and icons.
केंद्र सरकार किसानों और गरीबों के हक का पैसा सीधा उनके बैंक खाते में जमा करती है, जबकि बंगाल सरकार की योजनाओं का पैसा टीएमसी के टोलाबाजों की सहमति के बिना गरीब तक पहुंच ही नहीं पाता। कट 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 का जो कल्चर बनाया है, सिंडिकेट के हवाले बंगाल दे दिया है, उसी के कारण ये माहौल बिगड़ता गया है। बिना सिंडिकेट की इजाजत के किराए पर बिल्डिंग भी नहीं ले सकते।
Well, let's take this across to our panel. Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of BJP, joins us along with political analyst Shehzad Poonawala, Professor Manojit Mandal, political analyst Ravi Srivastav, also political analyst Professor Manojit Mandal. To the Prime Minister has taken the slogan of the TMC and modified, saying Parivartan hoga, but asli parivartan, real change is going to come about.
The eateries find it great freaky. I mean, when the Prime Minister of a country resorts to a bag of lies, when his own government in the center has awarded the TMC government of #1, prize in on many counts, starting from 100 days work, rural health, mission and rural housing, minority scholarship. These are awards given by the central government. Now he is talking about the cut money. I do not think the Prime Minister, being such an extraordinary orator, needs to resort to these kind of lies. He can do better, I think. I mean, I know that he was addressing a large gathering. That's quite fun, understandable. But in such an extremely high-pitched battle with such oratory skill, one should resort to lies. I think this is quite stupendous. Okay. This can be expected only from the Prime Minister of the country. This is really, really amazing.
Okay, stupendous lies being spoken at a time when especially West Bengal government has been awarded by none other than the centre. Sanju Verma.
Padmaja, I think the basic theme of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's electrifying speech at Hooghly in Bengal and also while inaugurating some development projects in Assam, the basic theme was the same, that development is now about to reach your doorstep. In Assam, of course, a lot has happened in the last couple of years, but Bengal has been bereft of the fruits of certain central government development schemes, and Prime Minister Modi minced no words in his typical characteristic style. He said that while the BJP-led Modi government believes in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, which is basically based on a holistic approach, inclusivity, Mamata Banerjee's approach has been tollbazi, bhatijawadi, jatiwad ki rajniti, tushtikaran ki rajniti. And I would also like to say that the Prime Minister basically corroborated what Amit Shah and JP Nadda have been saying.
But you haven't answered his question. He is saying if the West Bengal government is so bad, why are you awarding them?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Padmaja, can I finish, please?
Yes, go on.
I will come, I will repeat what I was trying to say, that the BJP has been consistently saying one thing, that despite not being in power in the state of Bengal, don't forget Padmaja.
Okay.
In the recent budget, we allocated 25,000 crore for 675 kilometers of highways.
Okay.
Barely 10 days back, the Prime Minister inaugurated schemes worth 4,700 crore, including a BPCL LPG import terminal and the famous Dobi Durgapur gas pipeline, which will help fertilizer units not only in Durgapur but even the Sindri fertilizer plant in Jharkhand.
Okay.
So irrespective of whether we are in power in a state or not, we do not, have a bias. But look at Mamata Banerjee, simply consumed by her hubris.
Okay,
Tell
everyone,
me why she has not.
Professor Mandal is smiling. He thinks that you are not answering his question, Sanju Verma.
Bharat, common engineering test.
I really do not expect an answer from a BJP speakperson on TV studio, except the narratives they have been sort of ranting about for the last 4 or 5 years.
Spokesperson. I'm here to address Padmaja's queries and address the viewers of Times Now. I'm not here to be accountable to Trinamool Congress. Let Trinamool Congress first be accountable to the people of Bengal.
Negligible, section of the society, the country's citizen. You may not have any accountability towards my questions. I understand perfectly.
Why have you not implemented Ayushman Bharat? Why have you not implemented Smart City Mission? Why have you not implemented Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana? Why have you not implemented Common Engineering Test? Why have you not implemented the RERA Act?
Good slogan. I tell you, you people are coming up with a very good slogan by copying in a very interesting peasant movement song from the early 20th century Italy. I will talk about that. So let's
get in Shehzad Poonawalla. Would you care to hazard an answer to this, Shehzad Poonawalla? Because Derek O'Brien, after the Prime Minister's speech today, said today's senior most member of tourist gang badmouths Bengal in his teleprompter performance. Then how come Centre rewards us number 1 in 100 days of work, small scale industries, rural housing, rural road, minority scholarships, skill development, EODB business, e-tendering and more?
So Padmaja, the one thing about your show is that it's always fact-based, and I hope that in the next 30 seconds I won't be interrupted by Mr. Mandal and Mr. Srivastav. I'll place some facts. 24 out of... 1 second, sir. Let me...
No. How are you taking my name, Mr. Sajad Pujavana? This is not my hobby to interrupting. This is your forte. This is your forte on TV studio, right? I've been observing
Padmaja,
you can't anticipate this kind of thing.
Okay, let him finish.
You can't do this.
30
this
seconds,
is what
go
I
on,
exactly
yes.
alluded to, and they have not even let me start. Anyways, Padmaja, 24% of people in Bengal unemployed, 26% no pakka housing, 14 out of 31 in state highways, 15 out of 21 average per person income, 28 out of 31 in HDI ranking. GSDP has fallen from 6% in 2011 to 5.25% in 2018-19. These are facts of Bengal, and therefore the Prime Minister is right when he says TMC means Tolabazi, Muslim appeasement and cut money culture. That's the only thing. Mr. Mandal and Mr. Srivastav, which industry has been started in Bengal, private sector, in the last 10 years? Please tell me, except for bomb making factories that are growing and flourishing in West Bengal. Tell me which big private industry has been brought into Bengal after you kicked out Tata. Therefore, you need Asli Paribartan, that is the change of mindset, because Mamata Banerjee's regime has been even in fact worse than 34-year-old West Bengal rule of left parties, and therefore all industry is out, joblessness is rising, and this is what the Prime Minister alluded to. He sent 1700 crores for piped water, only 609 crores was spent. Where was the remaining money spent?
Okay, answer those on facts. Yes, Professor Mandal.
First of all, he's talking about industry, with the huge fanfare they took out Nano to Gujarat. What happened to Nano, Mr. Sajad Poonawalla?
You talk about Bengal, elections in Bengal.
What did I tell you? This is your forte. Interrupting people, during their turn is your forte on television studios. I'm asking you a simple question.
Which industry, big industry, private sector industry was started in last 10 years?
Yes, my answer lies in the fact that across the country, the big heavy industries are not coming up, even which have been there since 2011, like the one I referred to in Gujarat, has been shut down. That is, you don't find nanos anymore on the street. Do you, Mr. Sajad Poonawalla? You had a huge fanfare when you were taking out nano. In fact, Mr. Narendra Modi was addressing a gathering barely few kilometers away from the quote-unquote nano factory and in front of the Dunlop factory. Did he promise anything to the
Sanju Verma wants to rebut that. Yes, Sanju Verma.
By one of his industrialist friends?
Yes, Sanju Verma.
You know, Padmaja, since Shehzad has put out some important facts, let me also tell you one more thing. In the halabaloo about, caste and religious polarization, we forget that despite not being in power, let us not forget that the world's biggest cargo operations, don't forget what Prime Minister mentioned today about the Eastern Freight Economic Corridor. It is the world's biggest cargo operations which will start from Dhakuni in Bengal, pass through Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Jharkhand and end at Ludhiana in Punjab. And Bengal will benefit big time from this Eastern Freight Economic Corridor. Don't forget that the 100th Kisan rail was between Sangola in Maharashtra and Shalimar in Bengal. Don't forget that the commissioning of the North-South Metro you know, all the way from Naupada to Dakshineshwar in Bengal was done by the BJP-led Modi government from the center. Mamata Banerjee was just twiddling her thumbs. Don't forget that 80 lakh women benefited from Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana in Bengal.
Yes.
Let me complete. Don't forget that 3.5 crore Jan Dhan bank accounts were opened in Bengal thanks to Prime Minister Modi's philosophy of inclusive development. Don't forget that more than 70,000 crore houses were given to the rural poor in Bengal under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So the point I'm trying to make is, while Mamata Banerjee is consumed by hubris and is in power and has still not adopted any welfareist approach towards the people of her own state, the Modi government, despite not being in power in Bengal, has decided that let the people not suffer, let hubris not dictate.
And since you quoted one of the examples of what the Prime Minister said today, the specific example given, Ravi Srivastava, was central money is given to the state. Then why is it that it does not reach to the last person, the Antyodaya scheme, where, you know, if you have har nal mein jal, then only a fraction of the people who are the intended beneficiaries end up getting that scheme? The money is given by the center. Where does it disappear?
Answer to your question lies in all initial statements which were said that it is the West Bengal government which has been awarded on several fronts. So it is not a question that whether the money straightway reaches or
awarded on several fronts, and on other fronts they cannot give the money to the intended beneficiaries, and that's okay.
Done a wonderful work in West
X
Bengal,
front you are doing really well. So in Y front you do not give people the benefit of the Ayush Yojana.
Mamata Banerjee inaugurated only, whereas the rail minister, she had inaugurated and it was completed before 2014 only.
Okay.
And it is only a credit stealing ceremony by the Prime Minister in the state of Bengal before election. And all these projects are only fakery because they are all inaugurations, they are all
fakery,
they are all foundation stones.
Fakery, rebranding, taking credit.
May I?
Yes, go on.
May I please make a 20-second... Mr.
Srivastava,
Srivastava, you got your opportunity. Let me make a 20-second intervention.
Yes, 20-second intervention.
Yeah.
Let him make a 20-second intervention. Now
Please,
you've made your
let's
point,
follow
now
the
we're just
decorum. Thank
rambling.
you.
Yes, go on.
Padmaja, Mamata Banerjee has now said that I am Bengal's beti and Bengal's beti should be voted back to power. Let me tell you what she's done for Bengal's ki betis. 42% of women are married before the age of 18. Let me tell you that as far as acid attacks are concerned, highest number of acid attacks on women take place in Bengal. Forget investment, Mr. Mandal did not answer that question. Why is the law and order situation, especially for women, so bad? And about Bengalis, Vande Mataram Bhavan, it is in a completely deplorable state, as has been alluded by the Prime Minister. What is Bengali and what is the Bengal ki beti ka faida that you do in the last 10 years? I'm asking you factual questions.
In Uttar Pradesh, will you talk about
Can I
that?
reply?
Will you talk about that? The BJP ruled.
Sir, forget Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat, talk about Bengal.
Do you know? Are you aware?
चुनाव बंगाल में है.
अरे forget it. आप सिर्फ चुनाव की राजनीति करते हैं. आप उसको विकास की राजनीति
Are the
करते
debate
नहीं
is
हैं.
about West Bengal.
आप सिर्फ चुनाव की राजनीति
talk
करते हैं.
about Uttar Pradesh. I mean, the elections are
let
in
me answer,
West
let me
Bengal.
answer.
This debate is about West Bengal. Suddenly, Mr. Srivastava has decided.
श्रीवास्तव जी, आपका चरण कहाँ है? मैं छूना चाहता हूँ आपका चरण. I want to touch your
debate
knee.
altogether on Uttar Pradesh. They have announced their budget today. I'm sure you're itching to discuss that as well. But let's save it for another day. For the time being, I think purely on facts, we have put plenty of facts out there. The fact that the state has also got many rewards, but in many areas which it has been found wanting, ultimately, the people with the best arbiters of where they think parivartan is needed. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, Sanju Verma for joining.